Hey there, YouTube followers or Facebook fans, whatever you might be. So, I have been traveling across the country, and that's a much longer story that I'll save for another video. Very much ties in with You Are the Medicine. This path has helped me to grow and expand in ways that is worthy of a book, honestly. Um, However, I will share one particular story that happened in New Mexico a couple of days ago, probably. It's easy to lose track of time on the road. But before I go on, let me announce where I'm at. And this background that you see on my screen, no, that's not something that was created by someone who's good at photography or AI or any of that. This is a campground that I'm sitting in called Dead Horse State Park. Lovely name. In Cottonwood, Arizona, which is very near Sedona, about 20 miles roughly. So I decided to enjoy the last bit of sunshine. It's probably somewhere in the 50s, and it's January 4th, 26. And I'm in a long sleeve shirt, but not wearing any coat. Yay. Um, and they do drop down here at night, just FYI, but that's not what this video is about. I just wanted to share a little bit about where I'm at and what's going on with me. So, while I was in New Mexico, I ran into some issues with my camper, and I decided I'm going to back the story up quite a bit. So there's going to be two medicine moments, one mine and one somebody else's. I had decided after hearing from a fellow traveler at another campground who told me one of my tires was bald, that I would make plans to stop and get that taken care of before it became an issue. And I spoke to the universe and said, okay, I'm going to get this resolved before it causes injury to me or somebody else, so I don't have to worry about a blown tire. And I set that plan in motion. I just let it go to the universe. Okay, this is going to work out somehow. So fast forward, I'm driving down the highway. Several hours later, I notice that the awning on my camper is pulling off, and it's gonna dismount and cause an accident potentially. So I said, okay, well, it's January 1st. Not a lot of places are open. I tried several places, no dice. I ended up landing at a campground, a KOA in Albuquerque, about a half a mile from an RV repair place. Imagine that. And so I end up going ahead and staying the night, lovely evening, spending the next day getting the camper taken care of. And I advised them to take the spare tire that looked like it was in good shape and put it on where the bald tire was. More was said about the potential for blown tires, and I dismissed it because I decided that was a story of fear that I was not going to interact with. And I got on down the road, and I was maybe less than an hour away from Albuquerque, and I have somebody waving me over to get off the highway, and I'm on Highway 40. So I get off the highway, I look around, I don't see anything. Well, I didn't do a full scan. Not sure why, I just didn't. And get back in the vehicle, and I'm like, I don't know. Everything's fine. Drive a little further. Somebody else does the same thing, and I'm like, are these people just annoyed with my driving? What is happening right now? So I continue on, and as I drive a little bit further, I'm still got a little bit of a nagging feeling that maybe something's not quite right. And so I say out loud to the universe, if there's something I need to know, make it very clear to me. And no sooner than I let that thought go, somebody drives up next to me in the fast lane and is hovering their car so they can keep track with me, rolls their window down, and they're going, your tire, your tire. So I'll leave out some of the details for the sake of staying focused on the topic at hand. But after pulling over and discovering that my tire was that one that they had just replaced was completely shredded. There was fragments of it left. I make arrangements to get the tire replaced, but it took a while, which is there was more challenges that took place, but nothing too terribly eventful. And I will say though, as a hindsight, the first call that I made was one out of desperation. And what vibration you are sitting in is what you will attract, and that is what happened. I attracted somebody who's trying to scam me. Fortunately, I recognized it before it got too far. So anyway, I'm sitting alongside the highway waiting for the repairman, and I'm noticing a person that I would potentially call a drifter, a homeless person, whatever you want to call it. Not a fan of labels, but that's what my brain was doing, my ego was doing. And he's driving a cart, like not a shopping cart, but like what you might see kids sitting in the back of a bicycle when they're young. You know, they've got that little trailer thing. So that kind of cart. And all I know is that my fear starts kicking up, and I'm telling myself, you don't know what the story is, so quit making assumptions. You're creating division right now. Or as the Course in Miracles says, your attack thoughts are attacking your invulnerability. So I continue on watching this man, and as he gets closer, I see that on his cart it says walking across America veteran. And I was like, that's interesting. Definitely resonated with the idea of traveling across the country on a whim. Not entirely a whim, but anyway. So as he gets closer, I roll down the window and he stops to chat with me. And that is what the rest of this video is going to be about. So I ask him what he's up to, and he tells me that he's decided to walk across America. And I said, really? And what prompted that? And he said, well, excuse the phone. I've decided not to allow that to keep things from rolling. 'Tis life. This is live and uncut. You get the genuine Kim here. So I ask him what prompted that, and he tells me that he was on the verge of ending his life as a result of a cocaine addiction. And he watched or read something that said that hiking would be beneficial. And so he decided he was going to start hiking. And he said his first hike along the Colorado River, he was very unprepared for. And as a result of that experience, he named himself Learning Curve. So for the rest of the story, I will refer to him as Learning Curve. So Learning Curve decides he's going to continue to trek across America. And as he does so, he ends up accomplishing, as of a couple of days ago, 33 different states that he's come across. And he let me know that he has recognized the power of his thoughts, and it has kept him from using anymore. He's 5 years clean. That deserved a fist bump, and he got one. He said that I asked him how he was able to accomplish what he's done. And he said, well, I have no bills really. And I get a disability check. And I walk until I'm ready to sleep for the night. And then I find some place to sleep. And, it said like a campground or whatever. And I'm like, so basically he's just trusting. He's being extremely present. He's doing what he enjoys and living his life and choosing thoughts that empower himself and doing it in his own way that honors his spirit. And I was just moved. I offered to give him a ride. I offered to let him camp with me for the night. He replied by saying, "Well, you're going the opposite direction, and I always feel guilty when I take a ride because I really would just prefer to keep walking like I promised myself. I have goals." And I'm like, "Okay, I don't want you to feel guilty." And he said, what else did he add? He wanted to continue, that he had plans to meet with a friend the next day. And so he needed to be at a certain point for that. Um, I told him I was inspired. I told him what was going on with me. And here's a man who's got his only belongings in a little cart, and he's walking across the United States. And he says, "You're okay though, right?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm okay." "Thanks for asking, though." He's like, "Okay, I just want to make sure you have what you need." I absolutely do. And what we both discovered early on in the conversation, I was transparent with him, and I said, "When I saw you coming, I was fearful. I wasn't sure who was this strange homeless person walking towards my vehicle on Highway 40, not something you see very often." And he said, "That's funny because when I see people parked alongside of the highway, I get afraid." And so we both had a story in our head. We both overcame a story in our head, at least for that moment we did. Um, and I was just really impressed by his act of courage and self care and genuine humility. And when I mentioned to him the power of belief and how our thoughts create our reality by our thoughts being electric, our emotions being electromagnetic, we attract situations. And he said, I said, "That's the Western side of it." He said, "I understand the power of thoughts, and I have learned a lot about Eastern thinking, and it's a much healthier way to live your life." And how much he understands we create our own reality is totally his business. But the takeaway, both for myself and hopefully for you guys, but obviously you guys get to decide what thoughts resonate and what feels strong to you, um, is that by shifting our thoughts, we can change our whole circumstance. He took what he had and he took what he desired and he made it work, um, without whining. And I'm sure he has challenges. I mean, he walks across the United States, but he decided I'm both the problem and the solution. And it all stemmed from thoughts. So that is episode 2. I don't know. I will probably lose track at some points. Don't quote me on that. I might have 2 already. I will continue to add to these videos as I'm able. I'm getting better at managing my time on the road, and I have some exciting news that I'll share in a future video, that will help with that even more. So I will end it there for now. The tagline that feels good to me is "Give yourself grace." You are the medicine. You are the medicine. Shift your thoughts, shift your reality.